city of Joburg has been engaging vigorously with international and local stakeholders, both in the public and private sectors, on issues regarding climate change. Joburg's Environment and Infrastructure Services Department hosted a delegation from the city of Paris between the 6th and 10th of February 2017.
We are member cities of C40, both Joburg and the city of Paris. And when we were preparing for COP, Mayor Hildego and the former mayor decided that maybe this partnership makes sense. Reason being that if you look at the population size of Joburg, it's quite high. It's quite, but in terms of land area, we are quite big. Vis-a-vis a city of Paris that has a small land area to the size of maybe Soweto, but with a lot more people. So with the notion of building a more compact and dense city, we thought there's a lot that we can learn from Paris.
The messages that rang out at today's discussions really focused on driving policy implementation to mitigate against climate change. Now, in the words of the MMC for Environmental Management and Infrastructure Services, currently there is a tidal wave that's building up, and that tidal wave is the rapid urbanization of people. Cities across the globe, including the city of Johannesburg, therefore faces the challenge of developing and sustaining an environment that is healthy, clean and conducive to all the inhabitants of the cities.
The challenge for Joburg are massive. We are already experiencing flooding as a city, which is one of the impacts of climate change. So it's there, it's at the heart of where the people are. So it makes it very urgent for the city to start dealing with climate change.
Of course, you cannot have any conversation on climate change without addressing the issues of electricity consumption and alternative sources of energy.
We're probably still going to have coal as an anchor in South Africa for quite a while. But certainly from the photovoltaics on our own rooftops of our own citizens, we've already commissioned around about 6 megawatts worth. And every week there are new applications. So I think you're seeing the start of something that could quite quickly snowball to a point where it wouldn't be unrealistic to think of 5 to 10% of the city's electricity needs coming from a photovoltaic source in a period of between 5 and 10 years. I think that is quite viable. Nuclear is cleaner to the extent that it doesn't emit carbon dioxide. However, there's a lot of stigma attached to nuclear, and also it has nuclear waste associated to it. So from an atmospheric point of view, it's cleaner, but certainly from perhaps the site itself, it's not that good.
Paris was here simply because they are well ahead of the game when it comes to finding innovative ways of adapting to climate change issues. But Johannesburg, they say, has its own unique challenges.
The challenges are very different in Paris than in Johannesburg. First of all, the city is very different. In Paris, we have a very dense city, so we don't have this problem of having transport sector. Inside Paris, we have a lot of public transport, so we don't have this kind of problem. Many buildings are already built, and we don't have an expansion of the population in Paris because our population is almost stable. So what we understand from Johannesburg is that struggling against climate change, which is we all have to do, will of course needs to work on new buildings, retrofitting of buildings, transport problems, transport sector, fuel poverty, which are the things that are quite different in Paris. But what we have seen is that the city is now involved in this question of climate change. They have some objective, they have direction, they have strategies, and what I think we benefit from this discussion is I explain how in Paris we have fixed those objectives, how we have worked since the last 10 years in order to put all the stakeholders all together, and how we can go together in order to try to reach those objectives.
There was a Q&A session, and there were a number of concerns raised from the private sector.
The city is very good at putting policies out very quickly for everybody to comment so that they can implement. And as a result, they're not necessarily perfect. More robust processes, and I think the Paris experience has shown that. And certainly the city's own GDS 2040 process and the spatial development framework process over the last couple of years have been very robust, thorough processes which gave people a chance to participate, to engage, to think about, not just rush through and drop some comments and hopefully they're taken up. And it's that participation which is going to lead to partnerships. And it lead to stronger partnerships to help the city deliver. And we're seeing that with the Paris experience. And out of today's talks, there's a lot happening. But there's a them and us. There's the city doing its thing, and there's the buildings, and there's province, and there's national doing their thing. But we're not talking together. And we need to get those partnerships going.
Nashina Mohammed for Joburg Today.